This never ends. We're worked to the bone. I can't take much more.
Gather around. We have our auction dab, this buck cracker. This big buck cracker is very healthy, very strong, from Western Europe. I would like to start my bidding at $1,000.
I'll give you $1,500 for him.
Mr. Jackson, you can't keep coming up here trying to buy my product before everybody else.
Really?
Yes.
Well, let me ask him.
Very well.
Now, am I being unfair to y'all?
Nah, we ain't say nothing like that. Nah, we ain't say nothing like that at all.
Uh-huh. Wrap him up.
Not so fast. I'll give you $1,600 for him.
Oh, well. Seems we have ourselves an auction here.
$1,700.
$1,800.
$1,850.
$1,900.
$3,000.
Ooh-wee. My cracker worth $3,000? $3,000 going once? Mr. Wayne? Going once? $3,000 going twice? This cracker sold to the Jackson plantation.
Wrap him up.
All right, Shalom. We brought some great millstone from the church in Birmingham, Alabama. Before we get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who tells us truth. Much respect to the Akim out there laboring in his work. And peace and salutation to the hopefully elect who are scattered abroad at the USA. Shalom. So yeah, of course, we back once again on the brother Don to Zaywan. Of course, we got the brother with me.
Brother Michael Olive.
Right, so we back, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, with the testimony of Yahweh Shai, which is what the spirit of prophecy, which means to say before. So we live in the current time period in which the Lord is getting ready to put an end to this wicked society, which is pretty much gearing up for Esau trying to subtly obtain his birthright back by the way of a new world order. Okay, and that's why you see the AI technology or the technical age increasing, because AI is going to get these devils, again, when I say Esau, I'm talking about the so-called white man, pretty much the power and the authority to try and submit himself within the earth, falsifying a birthright in which he lost into his brother Jacob. So all in all, when you look at the condition of the earth, the narrative of the earth, it pretty much can be summed up or condensed into two things, which is Jacob and Esau, right? The so-called white man, the wicked, versus Jacob, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And which is no coincidence that you got Esau, who is currently targeting and pursuing Jacob, just like in times of old. So I guess we can start off with, I think this Proverbs 29. Just going into that dynamic battle of Esau and Jacob, because the Bible, is just dealing with those two main characters. Everyone else is pretty much, what do you call those side characters in the movie or something like that? But let's go here real quick. Yeah, and we'll start at verse 12.
Salak, it ain't pop up on my end.
Okay, Salak. All right, here we go.
This Proverbs 29. You want to start that out?
You can start at 12.
Proverbs 29 and verse 12, it says, if a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked.
Right. So if a ruler hearkens to lies, then everybody else about him is pretty much wicked. So we know that the Most High deals with kings, and rulers. So, he set up Esau, pursuing what Job 9:24 The earth was given to the hands of the wicked for him to rule it. And he decided to rule it according to lies, deceit. That's why he set himself up as the Most High. All right. Completely changed the landscape of the nations, you know, as far as like the boundaries and all that. So that's why the whole earth, you know, the servants up under him are also wicked, you know, everyone but the elect. So let's continue in verse 13 now.
It says, the poor and deceitful man meet together. The Lord, Yahweh Shai, lighten both their eyes.
See, so you see how the Bible is pretty much dealing with the poor, you know, and the deceitful man, which is who? Esau, the rich man who has hearkened unto lies, man. That's how this man forces his authority in the earth by deceit, deception. So it says the poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord Yahweh by Shemal Shah lighten up both their eyes. All right, so you're dealing with the elites of Esau and the elites of Jacob. And I think when you go into the word lighten, it says the Lord lighten up both their eyes. When you get something light, man, and they can see afar off. So that's synonymous with prophecy. Strong H215. Yeah, let's read this real quick out.
It says, to be or become light, shine, to be illuminated.
That's the point. See that? To be illuminated. See? That's why you got a thing called, you know, the Illuminati, the light bearer. When you go back to what was Isaiah 14th chapter, Lucifer, it takes you back to being a light bearer, which is being illuminated. All right. So it says the Lord lightened both their eyes, which means that you have two characters here who have been given foresight and visions, you know, according to the future, because everything is pretty much dealing with rulership. All right. You got Esau looking to establish himself for forever, but then you got the righteousness of Jacob trying to do that through our Lord Yahweh Shai. All right. In which we know that the right hand outweighs the left as far as righteousness and wickedness, man. So we know that, hey, the Lord going to give the kingdom over into the elect. But the point is that the Lord is dealing with the elect, or the heads of these two different nations, in which he gave them both illumination. All right. And in fact, let's get yeah, I was right there. Book of Baruch, the 4th chapter. Let's get this real quick.
This Baruch 4 and verse 1. It says, this is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever.
Yes, Lockie. So it says in the law that do endure forever, which is not just talking about the standard 613 laws. This book in this entirety is a law within itself. All right. And when you go into the word law in the let's see if we can get it real quick. How that scripture go out? Like, prove the man for see of the evil. Now happy is he that keepeth the law, something like that.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Let me see real quick. It's in Proverbs. It might be in Proverbs 29. Yep. Yeah, here you go. Here it is. Proverbs 29:18. You got it, bro.
This Proverbs 29 and verse 18, it says, well, there's no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he.
And that vision is synonymous with light, you know, being enlightened. So now you can see it for all, which in before times, you know, we was in the dark, just like our people right now who don't know what's going on pertaining to the future, the prophecies. They're in darkness. So if they don't have no vision, then ultimately they're going to perish for not being able to foresee the evils, the snares are being laid ahead, and they're going to fall into the snare. But it says, he that keepeth the law, a happy is he. So just to prove that point about, you know, their law not just being pertained to the 613 laws. Let's go into it real quick. Strong H8451 and get to the point out.
It says body of prophetic teaching.
There you go. So body of prophetic teaching, which is basically consisted of the testimony of Yahweh Shai. All right. And it says instruction in the messianic age. You see that? So when you're dealing with the testimony of Yahweh Shai, it foretells the kingdom of heaven, man, and what we had to go through to get there, and what these Edomites, these devils, are trying to do to stop that. You see? So by being put up on game about that fact right there, then you can make the necessary adjustments to, not get caught into the snare dealing with this light. But let's go back to Baruch 4 and verse 1.
Come back in that Baruch 4 and 1. It says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever.
Mm-hmm.
All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die."
Mm-hmm. So taking hold of this book and hearkening to the instructions is going to lead unto life. And that's only pertaining to, the elect of Israel as it is of right now. All right, 2/3 going to die for leaving off this truth. You got it, bro.
It says, "Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated."
There you go. So we know that the word is synonymous with light. So this word enlightens you. It gives you foresight. See? So you got the illuminated on the right hand side, the poor. And also you got the illuminated on the left hand, which is Esau, the rich and the deceitful man. All right. So we're meeting both together, all for the sake of trying to get a kingdom established, trying to rule the world. Again, like I was saying before, the narrative and the pulse of the earth is literally condensed into two things, Jacob and Esau. All right. Everyone else is just, other characters in the movie. So just dealing with Esau. You got some up?
I'm looking for it.
All right, come. We got some information to go into as well. Dealing with the subtlety of Esau and how he's trying to bring forth, his new world order. Because when you go back into Genesis, it pretty much lays it out of how he lost everything, his birthright and his blessing, and that cost Esau everything. But we see now how he's trying to obtain that back by the same means in which he lost it, which was by what subtlety. So we can read, if you had or not, we can go ahead and start it on verse 30.
It's Genesis 27, verse 30. It says, "And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And they also had made savory meat, and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's venison,
Mm-hmm.
that thy soul may bless me. Then Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau."
Yeah, so basically, just to sum it up, Esau went out hunting, and Jacob took the opportunity to come into his father with, Esau's raiment on, so much the way he even put hair on his hands and played like he was Esau. And with Isaac being up in age, he was going blind. He said, well, you sound like Esau, but you smell like my son and you feel like my son. No, he said you sound like Jacob, but you smell and you feel like my son Esau. So I'm gonna go ahead and bless you. So once he gave Jacob a blessing, then Jacob went on about his business, and Esau came back from hunting. This is where it kicks off at. You can read it again now.
It says, And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that hath taken venison and
Venison.
brought it? So like, say it again.
Yeah, venison. What is deer?
Venison, the wild, and brought it me, and I have eaten of all before thou camest. and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed.
Right. So he already blessed him. So hey, that was it. It was set in stone. You see? And some people that would try to say that, you know, Jacob stole the birthright and all that, but you gotta remember, before the children had been born, you know, having done either good or evil, it was already set up that the elder shall serve the younger. You know, Esau was gonna serve Jacob. So that shows you that anything that the Most High sets up in stone, you know, beforehand, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. It don't matter how he got it. It don't matter if he subtly or deceitfully got it from his brother. It was already set in stone. It was predestinated for him to do that. But you got it, bro.
It says, and when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, O my father.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, thy brother came with subtlety, and have taken away thy blessing.
There you go. So his brother came with subtlety, you know, taking away that blessing. All right. So this is what fused Esau today. The Lord set this up like this. All right. Or else Esau wouldn't be driven to do what he's doing right now, because he understands that immortality is very near for the elect of Jacob. He understands that eternal rulership, as it is written, is for the elect of Jacob. So that's why this man is going so hard with his technology, because he wants to also subtly obtain his birthright back, you know, by the seat. So subtlety, strong H 4820, that word marama, and you get deceit and treachery. All right, let's get a strong definition.
The Strong's definition, it says, in the sense of deceiving, fraud, craft, deceitful, false, feign, guile, subtlety, and treachery.
There you go, man. So Jacob used that, you know, on Esau, but it also shows that Esau didn't cherish, you know, the inheritance, because he was going to get like a double portion from that blessing, you know, but he sold it away for a piece of meat, you know, which shows you that he didn't really think anything of it. If he feel weak at that moment, feel faint or whatever, that he cast away something that was going to be so significant to him. Evidently, he didn't care about it, you know, but we see how hard Jacob went to get it, so much where he had to deceive his father to bless him, you know, and he you know, he subtly, you know, moved in on Esau and got him to sell his birthright, you know. So Jacob really wanted it, and that's who it was given to from the beginning. So it says in the sense of deceiving and fraud. Let's look up this word fraud. I hate when they do that. I'm trying to look up a word and the little box won't stay up in a way. Type in on Google. Yeah, you got it, bro.
It says, simple Google definition of that word fraud. It says, is the intentional deception or misrepresentation of facts to secure an unlawful or unfair gain, often to deprive someone of a legal right, money, or property.
There you go, in a nutshell. So this is what Jake did on Esau. Now you see Esau trying to do that same thing in return. See that? So we see how, you know, the Lord causes everything is pretty much double. You know, like the scripture say, one against another. So Esau thinks that he can trick Jacob this time, to give him the birthright back, and what he's going to use to do that. The AI technology, man. So before we get into that, let's go back to, man, where was that? Let's go back to Genesis 27. All right. Yeah, we can read 36.
Coming back in that Genesis 27 and 36, it says, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times.
There you go, supplanting him 2 times, man. Let's click on this word supplant real quick. Just curious. You know what it is, but we know we like to go into things. It may give us another clue to something else. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much supplant, circumvent, take by the heel. Let's look up a simple Google definition real quick. Yep, you got it, bro.
It says the term supplant means to take the place of another, often by force or through scheming.
Do scheming. See that? You got it?
It could refer to replacing something or someone, as in printed books will soon be supplanted, by ebooks. Additionally, it can imply what did it say?
Usurping.
Usurping a position as a biblical context where Jacob supplants his older brother Esau. In essence, to supplant is to usurp or replace something, typically through underhanded tactics or strategy.
There you go, man. So even when you look at the word supplant, it takes you back to the example of Jacob and Esau. That's the spirit. So yeah, I mean, Esau got supplanted, and he mad about it. Nigga pissed off so much where it speaks about him wanting to kill his brother. Let's go back into that real quick. Yeah, we'll get to it. You got it, bro.
Come back in that Genesis 27 and 36, it says, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he have supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he have taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved not reserved a blessing for me?
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord.
So we see here how this nigga, when he lost everything, that made Jacob to be his Lord. Now, when in reverse, if he would have just held his peace and kept his integrity, then he would have been the master. That's what the word Lord goes into, master over Jacob. So this is what this nigga is trying to secretly and subtly obtain back, by the way of AI technology. And we know the end of the story where this nigga wants to, bring it forth an RFID chip, to make him your permanent master. You got it.
It says,
so he can make you his permanent. Yeah, I said it right. Slock, you got it, bro.
It says, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Yeah, so for the sake of time, we know that Esau was eventually given what, the earth to rule right now, is to say the fatness of the earth. And it said that by the sword he shall live. So they're skipping on down to verse 41. And we ended off in verse 42. You got it, bro.
It says, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
And this right here is relevant even unto today. This is this nigga's same mindset in which he's trying to secretly, subtly slay his brother Jacob for what? The birthright. That's why when we tell you, I think we warn about what these devils are doing, you know, it's stemming from what this nigga lost. He understands very well that immortality is at stake. That's why he's trying to, come up with the AI robots and, you know, they got the surgeons where you can take your memory and store it up.
Mm-hmm.
All this BS. It all goes back into them trying to obtain something that they lost. All right. So it said the days of mourning for my father hand. My father dies and I'm gonna kill my brother. You see, you got same thing that Cain did. Slayed his brother. Abel, you got.
It says, in these words of Esau, hold on. It says, in these words of Esau, her elder son were told to Rebekah, and she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, proposing to kill thee.
Yeah. So he went and told his mom, I'm about to kill this nigga. He just stole my birthright. But then, Rebecca, who represents wisdom, gave Jacob instructions. Like my brother, like your brother, he's gonna console himself by slaying you because you subdued him for his birthright. So his purpose was to kill you. His purpose is to kill you, and that stands even to this day. But you got it, bro.
It says, now therefore, my son, obey my voice and arise and flee thou to Lebanon. And flee thou to Laban, my brother, to Haran.
Right. So by hearkening unto wisdom, she represents wisdom, of course. He fled. He fled from his brother's wrath. And that's what we're doing today, in a sense, right? In the spirit, we're fleeing from the snares of Esau, because this system in its entirety is nothing more than a snare. Esau, who is known as that cunning hunter, all right, he's going to use deceptive tactics to lure you into the trap, So when you look at what this man has control over, which is everything that's essential to your livelihood, your job, your food, water, homing, transportation, the air that you breathe. He wants to control it also. Everything. This man was given control over that to an extent, and that's going to be used as leverage, as bait to lure you into his trap. Because once he starts to take away these things with these man-made calamities, you're going to be drawn in by your flesh. To ultimately he's going to be able to catch you. So that's why, in these times we tell our people, you so-called blacks, like, as Native American, to flee this place spiritually. You got to let go of America Babylon the Great. Or else you're gonna die in the pit. But you ain't got nothing, bro. I guess we can go into that article.
Con, I got something for you real quick.
Okay,
Con, this Proverbs 9 and verse 4, it says, whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Con, and if I may, hey, just landing back on what you said, hey, basically this is what's gonna be a preserver, this wisdom that's coming out through the mouth of the prophets, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shai, forsaking in the ways of this world and gaining the understanding that's needed, to endure these times and to endure the set snares that Esau has in store for you, you Israelites out there. But that's why wisdom is saying, come and eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. It says, forsake the foolish and live and go in the way of understanding. And you going into the way of understanding, that's to ultimately preserve your life, because we understand by Esau setting this system up, is clearly contrary to the ways of Yahweh Shemal Shai, in this charagma that he has set up is to basically separate you from your power, man. Because if you take that charagma, you're gonna be likened unto Esau in a sense. You know, he's gonna be your Lord, so to speak, instead of Yahweh Shemal Shah. That's why the Lord told you to go in the way of understanding, because that's where wisdom is gonna be a preserver for you. But you got it,
Yeah, and where is that wisdom found? You know, what the Lord tells you in Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you passes according to my heart, which should feed you with knowledge and understanding. So you got to go to the seers, man, those who have the light, the vision, to warn you and how to escape that warning through the divine message from Yahweh Shemal Shai. It is no coincidence that we're warning you about this wolf. You know, Esau coming with a chip, and we see the things leading up to that point. Esau is laid out, you know, pretty much, you know, a roadmap to what his end goal is, man. You know, it's like we follow and we see exactly where this thing is headed. But Jake is still simple. They're naive. I think when you go into the word simple real quick. Yeah, because that sums it up. As I was saying, you know, flee this place, you got to forsake the foolish. Everyone under Esau is considered foolish. And then you got to go into the way of understanding, which is found through the mouth of the prophets. And we humbly said, great millstone, that, you know, we have the 100% truth. Yeah, it's the word simple. What is it? Patya. Yeah, you get simplicity, naive. Where you get naive from? Let's go back. Yeah, open-minded. All right. Open-minded. You just open to any kind of philosophy out there. You see? And you don't want to be like that. You want to be grounded within Yahweh Shai. And there's one belief, so that you can't be taken by the wiles of the devil, man. All the deceit and craftiness that this man got out here, you know, to snag you into a system. So yeah, with that said, we're gonna go into this article real quick, so we can kind of link it all together from the People's Voice, and you can read the title out.
Kind of from the peoplevoice.com. It says digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty, says Gates Foundation.
Yep. So digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty, says against the Gates Foundation. We just brought you into how Esau is subtly trying to slay his brother Jacob or get his birthright back. So this is a part of that. He's going to use, you know, peace and safety. So somewhat would help the poor, you know, draw you into his snare so that he can tag you with his RFID chip. And it's a gradual process into that. First, going to have the digital IDs, but then it's going to escalate into an actual physical device. It's going to have all of your information, everything about you, all in one. All right, so they can do what they can track and trace you. You got it, bro.
It says digital IDs are set to be the cure for all problems, including poverty, apparently.
Yeah, and who is more associated with poverty? If it's not the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, then who is it? All right, so we can see how they indirectly targeting, you know, those who they call minorities. You got it, bro.
It says
We can just read this from Bill Gates.
it says 850 million people lack ID that proves their identity. As a result, they're shut out of a lot of services that could change their lives.
Hey, and that's the catch. See, that's the lure right there. You're going to be shut out of a lot of services that could change their lives. See that? So the snares are dealing with Esau baiting you according to things of your flesh. You know, it may be you can't go to a game, you can't, you know, access banking, you know, your account, or you can't access a store without this particular ID. So when you're outside our society, you know, it's going to be more enticing for you to go ahead and get the things necessary to obtain those things back, in which a lot of people, as we know, are going to be deceived by that. So you're going to be shut out of a lot of services that could change their lives. So let's see what we got here. Let's click on this link real quick. There's a link somewhere. Okay, Con, we can read this right here, part 1.
This from gatesfoundation.org. It says, our global identity problem, part 1. If a person cannot prove who they are, can they take advantage of all the opportunities society has offered?
Mm.
It says, you want to jump down? Oh, wait, never mind. I see it.
Let me read through it real quick. Yeah, read that top line, Bob Shaw.
It says, for the 850 million people around the world who lack any acceptable form of legal identity, their answer is no.
Mm-hmm. Showing you that, you know, Slocky, showing you that it's a worldwide thing. It's not just centered towards America, you know, it's going to be global. And the scripture goes into that. You got it.
It says identity verification enables people to fully participate in the economy. It eases access to employment and education, as well as service such as banking, government programs, and healthcare.
Mm-hmm. See that? Services such as what? Banking, all right, buying and selling, government programs, and healthcare, man. All tied into one. So you see how this devil is moving gradually with this? And it's becoming more and more clear about what their intents are. So that's pretty much the point on that. Yeah, they want to tag your children at birth, you know. So yeah, let's read this guy and what he said real quick, and then we'll get back into the scriptures. This is Elon right here, East Indian. He's just another mouthpiece with Esau. You got it, bro.
Yeah, this from Ramesh. It says there is an identity crisis in the world, but that'll get solved. But beyond the identity crisis is about how people can be part of a digital economy that is getting built and how they can actually leverage that.
Mm-hmm.
Our journey, our hope is to make it easy for people to be part of the digital economy.
See, that's where they're going into the 4th industrial revolution, man. Everything connected digitally. So they want to make that process what? Easy. All right. So by the means of what convenience, is how the people are going to be snared in these hard times that are coming. All right. That transition into really accepting their will is going to be way easier than what it is now. You got it.
It says there are talks of digital divide. We don't want to divide to exist. Our tools will help bridge that divide and make it a seamless experience for any and every person in the world.
There you go. So I want to bring everyone together on this one banner of being under this one central, you know, system connecting to the grid, basically. And it says it's gonna be seamless. It ain't gonna take long for them to put that chip into you, man. You know. So this is what the heathen got plotted, you know, what they're scheming, and you know, we know that Esau got the other nations in cahoots on his agenda to try and snap Jacob so they can rule forever. But we know that's not gonna be so, man, according to the scriptures. So if you ain't got nothing, bro, we can
I got something for you.
kind.
This Psalms 37 and verse 12. It says the wicked plotteth against the just
Mm-hmm.
and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. It says the
Matter of fact,
Lord. So like
going back to their rulership, let's read verse 11.
this Psalms 37 and verse 11, it says, but the meek shall inherit the earth.
That's what this whole thing is all about, inheriting the earth. All right. Esau was supposed to get what a double portion of the inheritance. But that went over to Jacob. So it say the meek, the elect of Jacob shall inherit the earth. You got it.
It says, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace.
There you go. So this is the motive behind Esau doing what he's doing. You got it.
It says the wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth.
Mm-hmm. And you got it.
It says the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. And if I may, we see we're not ignorant of Satan's devices or Esau's devices, and that's why having this report is so important, because we're able to foresee the evils before it comes to pass. So we're able to see, okay, this is what this devil is doing, through the eye salve, and we're able to capitalize on it, by ultimately depending on the doctrine, man, and depending on Yahweh Shemal Shah. That's why the Lord is laughing at this dude, because he honestly believes that he gonna rule forever with this NWO once he gets set up. This nigga got plans for 2100. Like he's gonna continue, and that's not what prophecy says. Prophecy says this dude is gonna be cut short. And then all of that he worked hard for is gonna come to naught, man. And starting with the elect is gonna take his position, so to speak. But you got it out.
Yeah, that's it. Because like the scripture say that there be many devices in a man's heart, but the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So just knowing that the Lord is laughing at Esau, like he really thinks that he's gonna be able to get this off. Like the nigga is delusional as hell. And that's the reason why the Most High is chuckling. And he's chuckling through us, because we sitting back like, yeah, it's not written in the store for you to overcome the Most High, for you to defeat Yahweh Shai, and the elect. So whatever you do is going to come to naught. That's the belief that we have in this word, that the Lord is not going to let an evil speaker or this wicked ass nigga take over the earth, man, and kill everything. All right. If he could do that, then the Most High won't be all powerful. So yeah, just going back into what we just read from that article, of how pretty much, they want to oust you from society. I think when you go to, let me see here. Yeah, we can just start at verse 15.
This Revelations 13 and 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of
the image of the beast is, of course, the image of Rome. Right? You got the philosophies of Rome here, Colosseums, the plebeians and patricians. Now you got the Democrat, Republican. Everything's a mirror image of Rome. You got it.
It says that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Because ultimately the image of the beast is going to the New World Order, a more secure version of the Roman Empire. All right. So it says, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast, they should be killed. All right. So when you go into this word killed, of course, it means what it says, but there's another meaning behind it as well. So you don't want to get down with Esau's system, and get the ultimate idea as far as the chip. It's going to be decreed that you be put to death. Let me see. It should be killed. Yeah, so to kill in any way, whatever, to destroy or allow to perish. But when you go into the root word right here, strong G575, it gives you this. As that guy spoke about bringing everything together. They don't want to have no division. Well, if you don't want to get down, and this is what's going to be the case for you, you're going to be ousted outside of society, not protecting, within the the perks of Babylon or the world. You got it, bro.
It says of separation, of local separation,
Mm-hmm.
of separation of a part from the whole.
From the whole, right? So what Esau got going on, man, like if you can't get down with his plan, then there's no need for you in this system. And we know they want to destroy most of Jake anyway, but if you thinking about continuing your life in America, Babylon the Great, for generations on out, this is what you got to look forward to. You either submit unto Esau or you be kicked out of his system to the point of where it's going to be a decree where you be put to death. All right, for your rebellion against his man and his system. So you're not going to be able to have access to getting food, the necessary items that pertain to your life, water, in which he's going to have all that locked up. You see the stores right now, some stores you can't get in unless you got an ID. They got locks on the, I know at Dollar General, some place they got like locks on the, in the food aisle. Something like that. Somewhere where you got to scan to get your food. But yeah, we see where it's going. All right. Ultimately, you're gonna have to have a chip just to get access to those things. So all that's pretty much gonna be sitting around Esau, being that cunning hunter, trying to lure you in through your flesh. And we'll read verse 16 and 17, and then we'll go get that precept I was just thinking about. You got it, bro.
Verse 16, it says, and he caused the fall, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Mm-hmm. This should make more sense now. Like every Israelite should see this for what it is. Obviously, they want to bring forth some kind of digital form of ID to have you connected to it. So how much more something physical been put on your skin to where they can track and trace you? Elon Musk got the brain chip going now. It's all there. But go ahead.
It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Mm-hmm. So having all those three tied together links up with you worshiping the beast. You're not gonna be able to buy or sell unless you got the mark, the chip, or the name of the beast. All right, the identity, the ID, right? All right, or the number of his name, which goes into it 666. See? So that's what it's coming down to, which is the hour of temptation. We'll get that and we'll close it out. You got it, bro.
This Revelations 3 and verse 10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
All right. So this is the build-up. This is the snare that we'll warn our people about, dealing with Esau, collapsing society. There's going to be anarchy in the streets, famines, pestilences, wars everywhere, man. That's the hour of temptation that we're talking about, and which is going to be so chaotic that they're going to say that it's mandatory that you take this chip as a form of peace and safety and security, for you to eat or get some drink. It's going to be rationing, right? So the chip is going to make that much more sense in the time of temptation. It's going to be pulling at your flesh and tugging at you to bow down into Esau's system. But it says, because I was kept the word of my patience. All right. Which means that we kept these instructions, this testimony, right? The Lord said he's going to keep us from the hour of temptation, not meaning that we're not going to have to go through those things. All right. Because we're not going to get beamed up before the tribulation, but we're going to be preserved from the said perils, what it's going into. Divine intervention taking place, you eating and drinking, being married, like when you read in second edge of the second chapter, and many other scriptures, man. All right. The elect going to be kept. But you got it, bro.
It says, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Right, it's gonna be a worldwide thing. The word world goes into orchomany, right? The entire earth. So let's go into this word temptation. All right, temptation. You got it, bro.
Kind of says an experiment, attempt, trial, proving. It says the trial of a man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, and constancy.
And this is the reason why we say that this is really the Most High's chip. Of course, everything belongs to him, but he gave Esau this technology to test the fidelity of the faithfulness of the elect of the world, pretty much. You know, all of the Israelites scattered abroad, but only the elect are going to remain faithful. Okay? So he wants to see who's going to remain faithful to him and who is going to bend their knee and worship Esau. You got it.
It says an enticement to sin.
You're going to be enticed. See? When you go into the word entice, you got it.
It says enticement refers to the act of attracting someone artfully or by arousing hope or desire.
Right? So out of chaos, Esau is going to be a form of hope as well. You see? He's going to be that false light arising, you know, bring you and your children down to whatever camp, you know, come down here. We got food, whatever you need. We got pillows, refuge. See? And you're going to find out that you're going to have to receive something in order to obtain it. All right. And you're going to know in that day that the chip is the mark of the beast, but it's going to be so bad that the majority of people are not going to give a damn. That's going to be their hope in that day. But the elect, on the other hand, have another type of hope. It's gonna be real dire here, man. Esau got that stake on the string, you know, in which he's gonna look. What he's gonna present is gonna look very, very enticing for the mass majority of these people out here. You got it.
It says often to persuade them to do something. It can also be defined as the act of persuading someone to do something by offering them something pleasant.
See that? You got it.
In essence, enticement involves creating an appeal that draws someone in, often through temptation or incentive.
Right, right. So Esau being that cunning hunter, just like Edomite in a deer stand, he lays out, you know, either food, corn, or something like that to attract the deer, or he got a mating call, all right, and he sits in camouflage, waiting to take down the prey. So once you're drawn into that net by the way of your lust, right, that's when he got you. Let's go back. You got it.
It says an enticement to sin, temptation, whether arising from the desires or from the outward circumstances.
Yeah, you design to eat and feed your children, right? You design a home over your head, clean water. These are the outward circumstances going to play on your flesh. So without Yahweh Shemashai, man, it's ultimately impossible to escape the snares of Esau. It's impossible, you know. But for those, as the Lord said, who keep his word, they're going to be preserved from the said peril. So we see what these devils are cooking up, which is really Yahweh Shemashai wrapping this thing up. But it all points to, you know, the salvation of the elect at the end of the day. And that's what we rejoice in. So Esau is not going to fulfill his desires, but the Lord's going to pretty much grant the desires of the righteous, the elect of Jacob. So that's all I had, bro. You had anything else?
Lie.
Okay, Khan. Yeah, we just close out right there. So yeah, Lord willing, y'all were edified, and shalom to the Akim. knock off on the coming board. With that, Lord willing, y'all edify and give all praise and the glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakak, with Dash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders at the great millstone who tells us truth. Much respect to the Akim out there laboring in his work. And peace and salutation to the hopefully elect who are scattered abroad, that you would say, Shalom.